Well, lo and behold, while you were talking, I was able to get my memory card error and ran a low-level format, so I was successful. So, and actually, I'm gonna share this video with you. Let me start on top side of this, and let's see if we can formulate a plan.
And keep in mind, my primary purpose is the back side of the house.
Yes,
now,
sure.
I don't want to go too much into replacing boards around the other three sides of the house, except,
That's fine.
there's some visible at the very bottom, so notice that's very secondary. The primary is that back side of the house.
Got it.
Any of those boards that I need to replace, I want to replace those, but the other three sides are not that much of a priority for me at this time.
All right, so I've got 6 paces, which is about 20 feet, and 3 paces, which is about 12 feet worth of decking here, and it has been power washed and stripped.
Yeah.
Which,
yeah, it doesn't happen.
well, it's fine. And the problem here is that the intersection of the house and coming out in the sunshine not real well. That's the fail point here. So anyway.
Kind of faded out a little bit.
Right. And your brick molding right here, I'm getting a shot of off of the sliding glass. Actually, the brick molding on both sides. And the primary problem here does not appear. All right. I'm wiggling the deck a little bit, which you can see, which is it's not a good thing, and we can fix that with bracing. Bracing, what I mean is to go across these, and I'm pointing down at your 4x4 members in an X or V fashion. The bracing is coded to be 2x6 bolted in with a through bolt, and there's an awful lot of movement on this lower section of the deck, and I can see where there was a long stair here. Now, the upper side has a very appropriate amount of movement, being negligible, and what we have to do is solve the water problem.
Yeah, yeah.
And let me get this video I'd like to discuss with my craftsman here, because it's easy to take a couple of boards off here on this side and this little piece of flashing you got, but let's see, you've got it so close, you've got a debris field hanging in here, but it is built in a standalone function, and I'm not sure about this pad here because there is an intersect point with the storm door, the sliding glass door. There shouldn't be, and what I'm trying to figure out is your deck actually looks pretty good once you seal it. I don't see, well, I mean, there's some errant boards here, like I'm pointing to one poking up right now, but it's minor things, and really what you got, yeah, well, you see that's attached, and what I'm doing now is walking up underneath the side that's a little bit higher, and I don't understand why they would put this board here, which is not, yeah, they got a mess, because yeah, well, see, you can see daylight up in there, but that's actually a back dam board. But they've got it so close to the house you can't get appropriate drainage, and I don't think you can slip boards behind it. Boards meaning siding. So anyhow, because see, it's so close right here that if you take the decking board off, I'm pointing to the one closest to the house, wiggling it, and that is the rear band. It should be double. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about this one a little bit, because usually things are kind of cut and dry obvious, but this one's built and they've got it bolted into the trim boards here. And you can see some screws or something in there, which isn't good, because the trim boards won't hold it if it starts to do anything bad. I see nails here, and there's one going into the siding. They're not deep enough to hold it up there. And yeah, let me run this by some folks. One of those being our professional engineer I work with on a weekly basis. Let's see if we can come up with some good answers here for you. And a lot of this, I'm gonna give you options here as well as I can, and focus on the back. To catch my video up, because it was faulty, pointed out some places here on the step area. You see the swelling on step 2, the bottom board here has got some activity. Basically what I'm talking about is swelling because of water, and we use the term drinking because the product is made with paper. By the spigot I'm pointing to a hole and caulking, but all the other boards look good, which is no small miracle. I think that there was just one board or two on this side where the AC is. I was walking through, and I'll here again just catching my video up. You got a corner here, but it's not, as you can hear, it's firm, it's just turned in. So let's try to save it, not replace it. The very long run, first long run is, I'm pointing to, failed. And 1, 2, 3, 4 boards up, and again that's a 6-inch reveal, but the rest of them look fine. And you might just be able to get some paint on those and make them last another couple of years, or might even go 5 to 10 years if you can keep it painted. Walking across the front face of the house, I don't see any problem at all. You know, if you can
get over to the driveway garage, the far right side, you'll see some
okay.
some trim. You see some trim at the very bottom.
Right.
And
well, it's well, it's an 8 or 10 foot long piece of trim here that I'm pointing to with my foot right now. I see it's failed on the bottom. We can replace that with a cement fiber board. And the problem with that bottom board is you got electric connections on it. And you see the conduits and all the tubing for your phone system, as well as I think the next one is going to be your cable TV or your internet access. Now wait a minute. You've got a seam right behind it that I'm pointing to, so we can take this off, and this one, all right, that's a 6 foot long section. We'll take that off at that seam and not have to bother those electrical connections.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with the bother the electrical. I'm thinking it was just that one board, the very bottom board.
Yeah, but that bottom board is only problematic for 5 feet. And there's a seam right behind that electrical connection piece of conduit that I'm zooming to right now. So we'll separate right there. The problem with this stuff is we can't cut it mid-length and have it come out pretty.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of this stuff we can put a razor knife or a sawzall into in the middle of the section, and keep in mind they've got 2 inches of board that you can't even see this lapped over by the one on top of it.
I see.
So
with that, then I may not be looking to mess with that board at all and just replace the white trim that's rotted at the bottom.
that would be easy to replace. I mean, very simple to replace that, considering there's a seam there. I'm pointing to another one about 7 feet up that we could, I would recommend painting that because of the difficulty of getting it out. That's a 16 foot long piece, but it looks like there's been a scrape on the outside. It's not starting to rot or decay.
Yeah, I think what you're saying are those things that are really secondary to me.
Sure.
With regard to the board,
Right.
those 3 sides.
Yep.
But I'm interested in what what you're thinking. But we can kind of move forward with.
Well, no, I'm thinking the little secondary items, just put a little paint on it. If you got this paint color, we can grab that color, put a little bit of paint on that, and it'll be good to go with the touch-up paint. And we leave it alone. But you're right. This deck is the biggest question of how to get to the siding to replace it so that we can give you a 30-year warranty. I'll tell you, on the one hand, the deck is stable. On the other hand, it would not pass a code enforcement inspection in 2012 by a long shot because of how it's constructed. But I will tell you also that there's an awful lot of decks out there that's just fine from a safety perspective that doesn't meet code. It doesn't have to meet code to be a safe deck for you and your family, with a big asterisk behind that statement that it's better if it was.
Yeah.
Because, you know, code...
My thing is, if I can take care of this water, and again, that area where the deck is meeting the house is causing that problem.
Sure.
If I can alleviate that now, then, you know, I'm eventually looking at replacing the deck, but that's just not going to happen right now. But if I continue with this water problem, all it's just going to do is continue to deteriorate the back side of my house. Right?
Well, that's exactly right. And I'm going to tell you, the first thing I do is put up gutters. You need about 60 linear feet of gutter, plus downspout on one place. I put a second one between the two windows, and I definitely put a third downspout at the end of this corner, because all that water from your roof is hitting that deck, and it is definitely hurting it.
Well, you know, that's okay. So that's another item. If you could, and if I'm going to talk about gutter for the back, I want to talk about it for the front too. So let me
walk.
Itemize a quote for front gutter and back gutter separately. You know.
I will. Let me do a little quick calculation here, because I've got a little tick over there. It needs a downspout. So that's 5 foot, and to run down, that is 25 foot, probably 2 downspouts. I got it. Okay.
And then when it comes to what were we talking about? When it comes to the paint, just let that be a separate item also.
Okay.
That way we're not going back and forth with pricing depending on what it comes out, and I can still prioritize the big stuff with the less important.
What did you want painted?
Well, what you were just talking about.
Touch up. You're talking about touch up. Okay. Sure.
Just itemize that separately.
I'll do it. Yes, ma'am.
From the back. Let the back side of the house be the primary focus.
Yeah.
And of course, itemize that, you know, accordingly. But
sure.
the 3 other sides, what you see, you know, break that out a little bit more.
Sure.
That way I can do something maybe not others.
Absolutely.
I really wanted to focus on the back side of the house.
Well, that's where all the potential damage is, no question. And
I like what you're saying. I consider that too.
Yeah.
The gutter, I know that's what I need.
Yeah.
So let's call that part of the primary work
sure.
too, and just split it out between front and back.
Well, I will.
That way, the back is the primary. If I can get done now, if I have to wait to get gutters on the front, that's fine. But
sure.
if the price is right and I can do both, that's what I like to do.
Well, I'll tell you, once the gutter guy's out here and he's got all the equipment, it's going to make sense to do the whole house. Because, you know, it comes in sheet metal, and they've got a machine that actually makes gutter on site specifically for your situation. And if you do gutter, you'd want to wrap the whole house. And but you know, here again, we'll give you itemized quotes. And you know, the big question here is, how are we going to handle this deck and siding? Everyone we've ever seen was very difficult to get to. But anyhow, yes, ma'am. I think I've got all I need here, measurement-wise and video-wise. Let me run back to the office, and let's see if we can't work some quotes up for you.
Wonderful. Will you send that to me, an email or a fax number?
Well,